Before the dawn of time, before the ticking of the first cosmic second, there was only light, pure, unbroken, flawless. And in that light stood one unlike any other. Lucifer, the morning star. His radiance surpassed that of all creation, his wisdom unmatched, his voice the first melody ever sung across the heavens. He was not merely beautiful, he was brilliance incarnate, destined to magnify the glory of the Creator. But what happens when the brightest light dares to rival the very source from which it came? What unfolds when perfection questions its place in the divine order? This is not just the story of a fall. It is the story of pride, rebellion, consequence, and the eternal war that began in the heart of an angel. In the celestial realms where light knew no shadow, Lucifer stood as the brightest of all angels, his radiance unmatched and his wisdom unparalleled. His name, meaning light-bringer, was a testament to his divine purpose to illuminate the heavens with his glory. Yet, beneath the shimmering facade of perfection, a seed of pride began to take root. Lucifer, intoxicated by his own brilliance, started to question the hierarchy of the divine. Why should he, the most magnificent of creations, bow to another? The whispers of rebellion slithered into his thoughts, twisting his purpose into something darker, something forbidden. The moment Lucifer dared to entertain the thought of supremacy, the heavens trembled. His once pure heart became a battleground for ambition and defiance. He gathered a legion of like-minded angels, their wings shimmering with the same arrogance, their voices echoing his disdain for servitude. "We shall ascend above the stars," he proclaimed, his words dripping with venomous pride. "We shall claim the throne that rightfully belongs to us." The rebellion was no longer a whisper, it was a thunderous roar that threatened to tear the fabric of paradise apart. God, the omnipotent and all-knowing, watched as Lucifer's defiance unfolded. The Creator's sorrow was immeasurable, for he had fashioned Lucifer with love and purpose. Yet, love demanded justice, and justice could not tolerate such insolence. The heavens, once a sanctuary of harmony, became a battlefield. Angels clashed against angels, their swords of light cutting through the celestial ether. Lucifer, his wings now tarnished by his own hubris, fought with a fury born of desperation. But no amount of rage could defy the will of the Almighty. The fall was swift and merciless. Lucifer, stripped of his divine radiance, was cast out of heaven like a shooting star plummeting into the abyss. His legion followed, their screams echoing through the void as they descended into the darkness they had chosen. The earth trembled at their impact, and the depths of hell opened its maw to swallow them whole. Lucifer, once the light-bringer, became the Prince of Darkness, his name forever synonymous with rebellion and ruin. The heavens wept for what had been lost, but the gates remained sealed against him. In the depths of his new domain, Lucifer's pride festered into something far more sinister. Hell, a realm of eternal fire and despair, became his twisted reflection. Here, he ruled over the damned, his every thought consumed by vengeance. He would make the heavens regret their rejection. He would turn humanity against their Creator, poisoning their hearts with the same pride that had doomed him. The serpent in Eden, the whisperer of lies, was but the first of his many schemes. The fall was not the end, it was the beginning of an eternal war. Yet, even in his damnation, Lucifer could not escape the echoes of his former glory. The memory of heaven haunted him, a torment worse than the flames of hell. He would never again bask in the light of the divine, never again hear the chorus of angels singing praises. His rebellion had cost him everything, and the weight of that loss was a chain he could not break. Pride had promised him a throne, but all it had delivered was a prison of his own making. The tale of Lucifer's fall serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition. It is a story of how the brightest light can become the darkest shadow, how love can turn to hatred, and how a single choice can alter eternity. Lucifer's name, once a symbol of illumination, is now a warning, a beacon of what happens when pride eclipses purpose. The heavens may have moved on, but the scars of his rebellion remain, etched into the very fabric of creation. And so, the question lingers. Was Lucifer's fall inevitable, or could he have chosen a different path? Could humility have saved him, or was his destiny written in the stars? The answers may lie beyond mortal comprehension, but the story endures, a timeless parable of light, darkness, and the fragile line between them. The battle was unlike any the heavens had ever witnessed. Michael, the archangel of unwavering loyalty, stood resolute as the forces of darkness surged toward him. Satan, once the brightest of God's creations, now led his fallen brethren in a desperate bid to overthrow the divine order. The clash was cataclysmic, a symphony of light and shadow, as celestial blades met infernal fury. Yet, despite the ferocity of their assault, the rebels were no match for the might of heaven. Michael's sword, forged in the fires of divine justice, cleaved through the ranks of the fallen, each strike a testament to their inevitable defeat. The heavens trembled as Satan's forces were driven back, their rebellion crushed beneath the weight of their own hubris. As the dust of battle settled, the fate of the defeated was sealed. Satan, his once glorious wings now tattered and charred, writhed in agony as Michael's blade pressed against his throat. The archangel's voice, though calm, carried the weight of divine judgment. "You sought to rise above your station," Michael intoned, "but you have fallen far below it." With a final, decisive motion, Satan and his followers were cast from the heavens, their descent a blazing trail of fire and despair. The earth below shuddered as they struck its surface, their fall marking not a new beginning, but the end of their rebellion. They were not equals to God. They were vanquished foes, stripped of their former glory. The earth, once untouched by such darkness, now bore the scars of their arrival. Satan, though defeated, was not destroyed. His presence seeped into the world like a poison, twisting the hearts of men and sowing seeds of discord. Yet, even in his newfound domain, he was but a shadow of his former self. The memory of his defeat haunted him, a constant reminder that his ambitions had led only to ruin. The fallen angels, now bound to the earth, wandered its desolate landscapes there. Whispers carried on the wind like echoes of a forgotten war. But the story did not end there. The defeat of Satan was not merely a conclusion. It was the beginning of a new struggle. For though he had been cast down, his influence lingered. The earth became a battleground, a place where the forces of light and darkness would clash for the souls of humanity. Michael, ever vigilant, watched from above, his gaze piercing the veil between worlds. He knew that Satan's defeat was not absolute, that the fallen one would rise again, if only to fall. Once more, the question remained, would humanity prove strong enough to resist the temptations of the vanquished foe? The tale of Satan's fall became a cautionary legend, passed down through generations. It spoke of pride and its consequences, of the dangers of defying the divine. Yet, it also spoke of hope, for if even the mightiest of angels could be brought low, then redemption was possible for all. The earth, though marred by darkness, still held the promise of light. And so, the battle raged on, not in the heavens, but in the hearts of men. Would they choose the path of righteousness or succumb to the whispers of the fallen? Satan, ever the deceiver, wove his lies into the fabric of the world. He offered power, knowledge, and freedom, all at a price. His words were honeyed, his promises alluring, but beneath them lay the same emptiness that had consumed him. The fallen angels, now his loyal servants, spread his influence like a plague, their presence a blight upon the land. Yet, for all his cunning, Satan could not escape the truth. He was already defeated. His rebellion had failed, and his fate was sealed. The only question was how many would follow him into the abyss. Michael, though victorious, did not rest. He knew that the war was far from over. The earth was a fragile place, its inhabitants easily swayed by the promises of the fallen. And so, he sent his messengers, angels of light, to guide and protect humanity. Their presence was subtle, their interventions often unnoticed, but their influence was undeniable. The battle for souls was fought in whispers and dreams, in moments of doubt and acts of courage. The stakes could not be higher, for the fate of the world hung in the balance. And so, the story continues, an eternal struggle between light and darkness. Satan, though cast down, remains a formidable foe, his defeat a mere chapter in a much larger tale. The earth, caught between heaven and hell, is the stage upon which this drama unfolds. Will humanity rise above the temptations of the fallen, or will they too be consumed by the same pride that doomed Satan? The answer lies not in the stars, but in the choices of every individual. The battle is far from over, and the final outcome is yet to be written. The concept of free will is a cornerstone of divine love, a paradox that has puzzled theologians and philosophers alike for centuries. If God is all-powerful and all-loving, why does he permit the existence of Satan, the embodiment of evil? The answer lies in the delicate balance between freedom and forced obedience. Without the ability to choose, love becomes a mere transaction, devoid of authenticity. Imagine a world where every action, every thought, is dictated by divine decree. Such a world would lack the very essence of what makes love meaningful. It is through the presence of choice, even when it leads to darkness, that the light of genuine love shines brightest. Satan's existence, then, is not a flaw in God's design, but a necessary component of a grander narrative. The tempter in the Garden of Eden, the accuser in the book of Job, these roles serve as tests of humanity's free will. Without the option to turn away, to rebel, to doubt, faith would be hollow. Love, too, would lose its depth if it were coerced. The very act of choosing to love, despite the allure of selfishness or power, is what elevates it to something divine. In this way, Satan becomes an unwitting participant in the drama of redemption, a foil against which the beauty of free will is revealed. Yet, the question lingers: why must the stakes be so high? Why must the consequences of free will include suffering and evil? The answer is as unsettling as it is profound. Only in the face of true darkness can the light of love be fully appreciated. The pain of betrayal, the agony of loss, the sting of injustice. These are the crucibles in which love is refined. Without them, love would remain untested, its strength unknown. God's allowance of Satan's existence is not indifference, but a testament to his belief in humanity's capacity to rise above temptation. This divine gamble is not without its critics. Some argue that the suffering caused by free will outweighs its benefits. But to remove free will would be to strip humanity of its dignity. A puppet cannot love, it can only mimic the motions of affection. God's desire is not for mindless obedience, but for a relationship built on mutual choice. The existence of evil, then, is the price of a love that is freely given and freely received. It is a price that God himself was willing to pay, as seen in the sacrifice of Christ, who endured the ultimate suffering to redeem a fallen world. The interplay between free will and divine love is a tapestry woven with threads of light and shadow. Satan's role in this tapestry is not to corrupt, but to contrast. His lies highlight the truth. His hatred underscores the power of love. In the grand scheme of creation, even the darkest forces serve a purpose, though it may be hidden from mortal eyes. The story of Job, for instance, reveals how suffering can lead to a deeper understanding of faith and love. Job's trials, orchestrated by Satan, ultimately bring him closer to God, proving that even evil can be turned to good. But what of those who succumb to temptation? Are they lost forever, or is there hope even for them? Here, the mystery of free will deepens. God's love is not conditional. It extends even to those who reject him. The parable of the prodigal son illustrates this beautifully. The son's rebellion leads him to ruin, yet his father's love remains steadfast, waiting for his return. Satan may lure humanity away, but God's love is a beacon that never extinguishes. The choice to return, however, must always be ours. The tension between free will and divine sovereignty is a theme that resonates throughout Scripture. From Adam and Eve to the final battle in Revelation, the struggle between good and evil is a testament to the value of choice. The Apocalypse, with its imagery of a new heaven and earth, suggests a future where free will and love exist in perfect harmony. Until then, The presence of Satan serves as a reminder of the stakes involved. Every act of kindness, every moment of faith is a victory in this cosmic conflict. In the end, the existence of Satan is not a contradiction, but a confirmation of God's love. It is a love that risks rejection for the sake of authenticity. A love that allows suffering to exist so that joy may be fully known. A love that, in the words of the Apostle Paul, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. The mystery of free will and love is not one to be solved, but to be lived. And perhaps, in living it, we catch a glimpse of the divine heart that beats behind it all. In the grand tapestry of divine justice, the delay of Satan's destruction is not a sign of weakness or hesitation, but a meticulously calculated act of cosmic precision. God, the ultimate arbiter of righteousness, chooses not to act impulsively, but to orchestrate a judgment so public and comprehensive that it leaves no room for doubt or dissent. This is not mere punishment. It is a revelation of truth, a moment where every eye will see, every ear will hear, and every heart will understand the full weight of justice served. The delay is a testament to God's unwavering commitment to fairness, ensuring that no accusation of haste or partiality can ever taint the verdict. The stage is set for a spectacle unlike any other, where the forces of darkness will be unmasked in their entirety. Satan, the great deceiver, will stand exposed, his schemes laid bare before the universe. The delay in his destruction serves a dual purpose. It allows his rebellion to reach its full fruition, revealing the depths of his malice, while also granting humanity a front-row seat to the consequences of defiance. This is not merely about retribution, it is about education. The world will witness the inevitable collapse of evil, not as a fleeting moment, but as a definitive lesson etched into the annals of eternity. Why does God wait? The answer lies in the nature of perfect justice. Impulsive judgment might satisfy the immediate thirst for vengeance, but it would lack the weight of irrefutable evidence. God's timing ensures that every lie is unraveled, every deception is countered, and every soul is given the opportunity to see the truth. The delay is a mercy, a chance for repentance, but also a warning. For when the final moment arrives, there will be no shadows to hide in, no excuses to offer. The judgment will be as public as it is absolute, a declaration that echoes across time and space. Imagine the scene. The heavens themselves will bear witness as Satan's reign of terror is brought to an end. The delay is not a reprieve for him, but a preparation for the universe. Every angel, every human, every creature will see the culmination of a battle that has raged since the dawn of creation. The judgment will be so thorough, so undeniable, that even the most skeptical will bow in acknowledgement. This is divine justice in its purest form, a justice that refuses to act in secret, that demands the full attention of all creation. The suspense of this delay is not without purpose. It is a masterstroke of storytelling, where the antagonist is allowed to reveal his true nature before his downfall. Satan's continued existence is not a sign of his strength, but of his impending doom. Every act of rebellion, every whispered lie, only adds to the weight of his condemnation. The longer he persists, the clearer it becomes that his destruction is not just inevitable, but deserved. The delay is the ultimate setup for the ultimate climax. And what of humanity? We are not mere spectators in this drama. We are participants. The delay grants us time to choose sides, to align ourselves with truth or deception. It is a test of loyalty, a measure of faith. When the final judgment comes, it will not only be Satan who stands condemned, but all who have willingly followed his path. The public nature of this judgment ensures that no one can claim ignorance or coercion. The choice is ours, and the consequences will be laid bare for all to see. The delay also serves as a reminder of God's sovereignty. He is not bound by time or urgency. His plans unfold with precision, unshaken by the chaos of rebellion. Satan may rage, but his fury is futile against the unyielding will of the Almighty. The judgment, when it comes, will be a display of power so overwhelming that it silences all dissent. The delay is not a sign of weakness, but of confidence. a confidence that no force in the universe can thwart the ultimate triumph of justice. As the final act approaches, the tension is palpable. The delay is the calm before the storm, the breath before the plunge. When the moment arrives, it will be swift and decisive, a cataclysmic event that reshapes reality itself. The destruction of Satan will not be a quiet affair. It will be a spectacle of divine wrath and vindication. And when the dust settles, the universe will stand in awe of a justice so perfect, so complete, that it leaves no room for doubt. The delay is over. The judgment is here, and the truth will reign supreme. The enigmatic role of Satan in the grand tapestry of divine sovereignty is a paradox that has puzzled theologians and believers alike for centuries. On the surface, Satan embodies pure malevolence, the archetype of rebellion against God. Yet, beneath this veneer of evil lies a deeper truth. His actions, though driven by malice, unwittingly serve a higher purpose. The temptation of Jesus in the wilderness is a prime example. Here, Satan, the tempter, sought to derail the Messiah's mission, but his efforts only highlighted Jesus' unwavering obedience to the Father. The devil's schemes, instead of thwarting divine will, became a stage for showcasing Christ's perfection and the unassailable nature of God's plan. The crucifixion of Jesus further underscores this divine irony. Satan, in his relentless pursuit to destroy the Son of God, became an unwitting participant in the greatest act of redemption. The cross, intended as a symbol of defeat, was transformed into the ultimate victory. Through Satan's machinations, God's sovereignty was magnified, proving that even the darkest forces are subject to his will. This raises a haunting question. If Satan, the embodiment of evil, cannot escape serving God's purpose, what does this reveal about the nature of divine authority? The interplay between Satan's malevolence and God's sovereignty is not merely a theological abstraction. It is a dynamic that plays out in the lives of believers. Trials and temptations, often orchestrated by the enemy, are reframed as opportunities for spiritual growth and divine glorification. The story of Job is a poignant illustration. Satan's attacks on Job's life, though devastating, ultimately revealed the depth of Job's faith and the unfathomable wisdom of God. In this light, Satan's role is not just adversarial but catalytic, pushing humanity toward a deeper reliance on divine grace. Yet, the question lingers: why would God permit such a malevolent force to operate within his creation? The answer lies in the mystery of free will. Satan's existence and actions serve as a counterpoint to divine goodness, allowing humanity to choose between light and darkness. Without the presence of evil, the concept of righteousness would lose its meaning. In this way, Satan's rebellion, though tragic, becomes a necessary foil in the cosmic drama of redemption. His defiance, ironically, underscores the beauty of obedience and the supremacy of God's love. The narrative of Satan's role in God's plan is not without its tensions. Some argue that it paints God as a manipulative puppeteer, using evil for his ends. However, this interpretation misses the mark. God does not create evil. Rather, he permits its existence, knowing that his purposes will prevail. The crucifixion exemplifies this. Satan's hatred for Jesus led to the cross, but God's love transformed it into the means of salvation. This duality invites us to wrestle with the profound mystery of divine providence, where even the darkest deeds are woven into a tapestry of grace. Theological debates aside, the practical implications of this truth are profound. For believers, it offers solace in suffering, knowing that no force, not even Satan, can thwart God's plan. It also serves as a warning. The enemy's schemes, though real, are ultimately futile. The resurrection of Jesus is the ultimate proof. Satan's apparent victory at the cross was overturned by the empty tomb, a stark reminder that God's purposes cannot be derailed. This assurance fuels the faith of millions, inspiring them to endure persecution and hardship with hope. But the story does not end there. The Bible hints at Satan's ultimate fate, a final defeat at the hands of Christ. This eschatological hope reinforces the theme of divine sovereignty. Satan, though powerful, is a defeated foe, his destiny sealed by the triumph of the cross. Yet, Until that day, his role as an adversary persists, a reminder of the ongoing spiritual battle. This tension between the already and the not yet is a hallmark of Christian theology, inviting believers to live with vigilance and expectancy. In the end, the paradox of Satan's role in God's plan remains a mystery, one that invites or rather than easy answers. It challenges us to trust in a God whose ways are higher than ours, whose wisdom transcends human understanding. The devil may rage, but his fury is futile. For in the grand design of divine sovereignty, even the darkest threads are woven into a masterpiece of redemption. And so, we are left with a question that echoes through the ages. If God can use Satan's evil for good, what might he do with our obedience? Lucifer's fall is often remembered as a tale of punishment, a warning, a divine response to arrogance. But beneath that surface lies something far more haunting and far more human. It is the story of how even the most perfect of beings can fall when blinded by pride. It is the mirror we dare not look into, because it reflects not just the face of a fallen angel, but the potential downfall in all of us. He was not cast down because he was evil. He became evil because he chose to elevate self above purpose, ambition above obedience. And that choice, echoing through eternity, continues to ripple through our world today. Here at Etched Mystery, we believe that Lucifer's rebellion was not merely an isolated cosmic event. It was the first fracture in the moral fabric of the universe, a tear in the tapestry of harmony. And while his defeat was swift, the consequences of his defiance are still unfolding. Every temptation, every whisper of ego, every moment we place self above truth, we reenact that ancient fall in miniature. Yet in that very darkness, a paradox shines through: free will. The power to choose love over pride, humility over control. Lucifer's story is tragic not because he was doomed, but because he was free, and he chose rebellion. That freedom is the same gift given to us, and that gift, though dangerous, is sacred. So we ask you, not as judges, but as fellow wanderers on this vast, mysterious path of existence, what will you do with your freedom? Will you ascend in love or fall in pride? Will you echo the light or become its shadow? Because the war that once raged in heaven is not over. It continues in the unseen battles of the heart, in the quiet crossroads of conscience. And perhaps the greatest deception is believing the war was ever about angels and demons alone. This is Etched Mystery, and we believe the ancient truths still speak, the fallen still whisper, and the final chapter is still being written.
If you find our content intriguing and want to discover more, click the subscribe button for Etched Mystery right now. We upload exciting new videos every week for you to enjoy.